Hasta picanha. Don't get any on ya. Woo! Am I right or am I right, CJ?
Nope. Nope.
It's kind of good.
Nope.
Good news, dad news?
Good news, dad news.
Today I want to show you kind of like an unsung hero. I don't know, recently it's become quite a sung hero. Did you say that? I don't know. There are some cuts of meat that get a bad rap, and then all of a sudden some chef makes it and all of a sudden everybody wants it. Typically a very inexpensive cut. It is fantastic. I'm going to show you picanha. Very simple, very easy. Don't be intimidated. We're going to do a chimichurri. Think of this like an appetizer or a carnivore diet, just all meat. All meat all the time. Let me show you how I like to do it.
Picanha.
Picanha?
I'm just singing. It's an unsung hero. I just sang.
Oh, maybe it should be unsung. Oh, another one. Sing.
Picanha.
Go to the bumper. So picanha, it's kind of most recognizable for this. CJ, can you see this beautiful fat cap? Right? This is glorious. Now, in past episodes, we've talked about the different kinds of fats in beef. This one is its own thing because this is like, it's like gold, little beautiful fatty gold. Now, what I do want to do, I want to trim this just a little bit. CJ, if you can look really close, see this right here? I'm not a fan of this part right here. Sometimes it's nice to be the butcher. You can be the butcher once you get a big, beautiful piece of meat. Treat it how you want to. We don't want to clean this up too much, but we do want to inspect it. Maybe we can trim a little bit of this off. This is mostly for appearance. Trimming the fat's not going to do anything for the flavor, right? It's not going to change much. It'll change texture and appearance, which is what we're looking for. That looks pretty good. Now, the magic of picanha is that contrast, that beautiful thick piece of fat. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our knife. I'm going to trim this last little end here off. This will be chef's treat for later. And then you can really start to see it, CJ. Can you see that? Look at that. Just beautiful. Now, we do have a lot of intramuscular fat in here. It's little flecks of fat, which is good. But now we're getting to our presentation cut. So I'm going to do like 1.5 inches or so. That looks good. We're going to make these long little cuts. Sometimes it's called a culotte steak at this point. You know, you add a fancy name to it. You can add $5 or $10 on the menu. Should we do 2 or let's do 3 of these? Should we do 3 long slices?
So what are we doing with this?
So I'm going to show you a fun way to cook picanha. We're going to sear it, right? So we're not going low and slow, but we do want, CJ, look at all that. We do want to render out some of this fat. Now, you don't have to eat the fat. This is something also good to remember. The fat is flavor, so it's going to essentially be basting itself. That's what makes this cut so amazing. Sometimes they call it the sirloin cap or the rump cap. Essentially, it comes from the hind part of the cow, but because of it, it's so very, very tender. We just have to know how to treat it. So these, it's good man.
Good man.
Good man. So these are the 3 pieces we're going to work with. Now, Brazilian restaurants, typically you see like in Brazilian barbecue, they do this a lot. I'm a big fan of this presentation style. So we're going to work here, bend this little one in half. Hey, no, we're making these little moons or semicircles. We're going to cut through right here on the side, all the way through, and we're going to have it keep its shape.
Is this in like a Brazilian place? Is it like hanging beef?
Beautiful. Yeah, you'll see it like that. But see, now we're getting to a more fun presentation. So let's do that again. Also, this is one of those things too, you don't have to like go over the top to be, not gonna toot my own horn here, to be impressive. Did he just call himself the talent? Wrong show, wrong show. But little bits of technique here and there really elevate our presentation, and we eat with our eyes first. Everyone knows that. So this is a fun little trick. All the way through, there we go. All right, now what we're left with, these 3 little beauties. Right now, already,
yeah,
looking kind of cool and fancy. Cool and fancy. I'm gonna do a 2-stage seasoning. Whenever I do 2 different seasonings, whenever you do it at home, always start with your salty first. So I'm going with some of our Blackstone Blackened. Now this is both for really fantastic flavor, but really unbelievable color. That dark is going to give us that beautiful, beautiful char.
That looks awesome.
Our 2-stage means the first one is the salt, the second is the sweet or the heat. In this case, we're using the citrus garlic mojo, which is sweet and heat. The reason is because the salt creates osmosis. That means the moisture starts to wick out as it sits. and then the sweet and the heat creates that caramelization on the outside. Give that a little love tap.
Tap it in.
Love tap. It's like Love Games. You ever seen that one, dude?
Love Games.
Yeah, it's an old English comedy bit with old Greg.
Oh, no.
Love games. Are you playing your love games with me?
Oh, that's really nice.
Oh, it's
good.
so bad it's good.
Yep.
Like dad jokes. Ooh.
Back in tune 2.
Like the Love Boat?
The Love Boat.
Oh, this is good. Are those the words?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I never watched that show with my mother every Saturday.
Every day.
This last little bit I'm doing is just the fat. Don't be afraid to go hard in your seasoning. I don't know if you noticed in the past, but when you do cook hunks of meat, some of the seasoning gets left behind on the griddle, which is okay. It doesn't mean you're losing it. It means it's cooking in it, which is good. Let's get some of these too. Getting real friendly here with our skewers.
It's a heavy seasoning. I like it.
Well, for a bite like this, like think of this like as an appetizer too. The biggest mistake people make on big hunks of beef is under seasoning, right? Don't be afraid. Yes, you can always add more, but you're missing out on the osmosis. You're missing out on all the beautiful action. I'm gonna turn my griddle on like I should have 15 minutes ago. Now, glad you caught that, CJ. Now, here's what you want. You want really, really high heat. So I'm gonna wait a minute or so for that to get hot. But once your griddle does get hot, we're gonna add some oil. We want it smoking hot. One side of my griddle, screaming hot. The other side of my griddle is off, so we'll have some residual heat to play with. But once you see that fat, it almost starts rendering immediately because it's so thick and succulent and juicy.
Awesome.
That's what we want. That's what you want to see. Now, while that's cooking, we've got a bit. Let's get to our chimichurri. I like to do equal parts. I'm going to go 70-30. 30% Italian parsley, 70% cilantro. Totally a personal preference. Chop it up nice and small. You could do this in a food processor, but it just has a much more lovely, elegant look when you do it on the cutting board.
I like it to be like
big, chunky, and going heavy on cilantro. I love that. We're gonna do the same thing with some garlic, chopped up nice and tiny. Use as much or as little as you like. The nice thing about chimichurri is it's up to you, as in most things. You can do whatever you want. Let's take some limes. I want to zest them before I juice them. Now, lime zest has a much different flavor profile than just the juice, so we're compounding and getting every inch of flavor out of this lime. Then we're gonna juice it. I also like to add a little heat, again, to your preference. If you don't like it, leave it. Red pepper flakes, just for me, it adds that extra little 1-2 punch, little pop at the end, a bit of salt and pepper, and a decent amount of olive oil. Now, this needs to be saucy because we're gonna drizzle it later. And also, this is so good the next day. Like, keep this for like 2 or 3 days, and it's just unbelievable. Oh, right?
It's the best.
Especially on beef fat.
Absolutely.
I do want to do one last little thing here. I've got some rye. Use whatever kind of booze that you like. But I brought my steaks back over to the hot side. Now we're gonna glaze, right? This is called flambe or flaming. Just gonna take a little bit of that beautiful rye and be careful. Take your lighter. Give it a 1-2. So essentially, let this burn. Don't touch it. Let that fire. Look at that. Just let the fire kind of crisp that last little bit of flavor up on, and that's all we needed. That's all we needed. Now I'm gonna bring this over to my cutting board. We're gonna let this rest a little bit. Now remember, when we're cooking big, beautiful pieces of meat, we wanna rest them. Usually, like, about the same amount of time that it took to cook it. It's how long you gotta let it just sit there and look gorgeous and look all beautiful. Oh, the bourbon smells so good.
Yeah, dude.
I'm just trying to stall for time.
Yep.
I'll be back in 5 minutes and we'll finish plating this. All right, the moment I've all been waiting for. Here we go. So here's the question. Do we take it off the skewer or do we plate it with the skewer? I mean,
I think leave it.
Leave it on the skewer?
Well, if we can.
Yeah?
Setting them in like that, they might have a hard time.
But then they're gonna stack on each other. We're gonna take it off. We're pulling an audible here. I'm gonna pull it off. Woo, still warm. Oh yeah, see, it's still holding its shape. Held its shape, that's nice. Now again, this is one of those like kind of party moves, right? You pull this out, you probably don't want to serve it just like this because everyone else is going to have to cut it. But I think this is super cool. I'm a fan of height, so let's put this guy right up on top. Oh, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Now, again, all of that fat, you don't have to eat it, but it's been like this beautiful flavor hug this entire time. It's been basting itself. It's unbelievable. Now, we always talk about elevating our flavors, you know, paying attention to our salties and our savories, and paying attention to our sweets and our acidity. To our acidities?
Our acidity.
Our acidities. So I'm gonna take that chimmy. Again, the longer this sits, the better. And I'm gonna go, not too much of the oil. I want mostly the herbs. I want that just hang out right on top. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, but that oil dripping, dude.
Oh, yeah. Right on top. Be generous with it. It doesn't look like it, but there's a lot of meat here, which is nice. Like if you are on a carnivore diet, that's dinner.
Your breakfast.
It's dinner.
Dinner, right?
Dinner. Let some of it hit the plate. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Let some of that go. Oh, yeah. Dang, I'm in that moment. I'm in that Zen moment right now. Look at that.
Dude.
That is just, every once in a while, you make something, you look at it, and you just wish somebody was around that would enjoy it. But I've got two guys around. You can take this to rare, medium rare if you want to. You've heard it. I've said this a bunch. Medium is something gorgeous. And that fat. I'm a fan of the fat. CJ, are you a fan of the fat?
I'm a fan of the fat.
You a fan of the fat? Wrong show.
Oh, that's a good
very
one.
obscure line. Let me know in the, don't let me know in the what's happening here.
Yep.
I'm getting beefed out. Mmm.
Dude, can you
This.
taste the bourbon?
This right here. The fat had enough time to render out slightly. It's creamy and delicious.
Juicy.
And you want to bite, buddy?
Yes.
With the fat?
Yes.
Oh, you're my boy, Blue. Okay. So, technique. That's all this is. But when we do it in a way, go for it, man. That's a big bite. Sorry.
That's all right.
Hey, you want one with the fat?
Sure.
All right. I don't have much to say other than whoa.
Oh, dude, there's just that hint of bourbon.
There's this thing we talk about on this show specifically. You know, paying attention to the little things along the journey add up to a lot in the end. That two-stage seasoning, right? We get the saltiness, we get the color from the Blackstone Blackened, but then we get the sweet and the heat from the garlic mojo. The fat is really, really rich, so we needed some acidity to cut the fat, to make the fat more delicious, and to make the herbs more flavorful, which is what we did with the lime juice. Oh, the zest too. I just caught a bit of zest.
Oh, yeah.
Adding the zest to your chimichurri, next level. Go for that. Again, this is one of those, I would say if you're throwing a tailgate, this is too easy not to do and not to be super impressive. And it's crazy good. Cut it up into smaller pieces, maybe toss it in the chimichurri. That would be good. Serve it in a bowl with toothpicks or with skewers or something. That's it, that's all I got. So good. And yes, that hint of bourbon at the end. That was a fun one. I like rye, use whatever you like. That's all I got for this one. Again, when you guys are cooking, pay attention to those little steps along the way. Those little things that we pay attention to make us a much better cook at the end, and our dish and our guests will thank us for it. Thank us for it, they will thank you for it.
You're welcome.
And you can give CJ credit.
That's right.
Like I always do.
Uh-huh.
Always. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. This is Cook, Eat, Repeat, where we like to help you become a better cook, one recipe at a time. I lost my knife, there we go. I'm your host, Chef Nathan Lippy, and I will see you all in the next episode.